to the town they buried him. I was just like, what's this? What's that? What's next? What we gonna do? What we gonna do? That kind of thing. So
Okay.
yeah.
So who would like to go first on the book?
Well,
Mara, you
not
Yasmin, go first.
not me.
okay?
I was stupid, Bunny. Once Hamza
No
died, I was
problem.
like, I ain't
Why I'm
messing with
asking
Bunny no
Tamara
more.
because maybe it's a working time or could be working
I
day
think
or
Tamara
something.
said she's on her way from coming home from a doctor's
All right.
appointment.
Okay, then you go ahead, Dr.
No,
Mahasi.
Yasmin can go. Go ahead, Yes.
As I had said when I jumped on, I didn't get to finish the book.
So
I
let's
got
talk about it
to
chapter by chapter and start with chapter 7.
uh yeah, I was gonna say I'll just start with chapter 7 because the 6. I was really surprised and shocked at the parents' reactions to Bunny's death. Because at first the mom, she was like, oh, so pious and whatnot. But then once it came about that drugs or alcohol might have been involved, then she was like, oh, so ashamed. So she
Regarding
was trying to
your
do everything that she could to
the saying that they want you to make
keep
like
her
just a foot.
reputation
Hmm.
upright and clean.
Hold on,
And
Jaden.
during the funeral, hey, Miss Sabrina, how are you?
Hi, sorry, am I not muted?
No,
No, you are
ma'am.
not.
No,
Oh,
hey,
Hey, Shannon.
hi
Sabrina.
everyone. Sorry, I'm so
We
rude.
we
I
are
No
over.
apologize.
worries. No worries.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying to figure
Uh,
out
just a
how to
few stuff.
mute. Oh, that's the
There's only
camera.
one button
I
just
know I'm
next to
doing
the
it. This
camera.
is my first time doing it on my phone. I don't know how to do it.
On the left side, when you click on the screen, you will see that it will pop up from down. It will just like it would have disappeared, and when you touch the screen, it will show.
Got it.
yay, you got it. Um, I was shocked at the dad's emotional reaction. Like he would be like,
Did you finish reading?
fine, everything's okay, offering everyone drinks, beers, playing with the baby. And then out of nowhere, just boo-hoo, tears would come. And I was not
Who
expecting
had the
those.
baby? Who had the baby?
The one of the brothers,
Oh, okay. A
one of
grand.
his
Okay.
grandkids, his
Bunny's
one of his
brothers.
grandchildren.
Bunny's
Yeah,
Mm.
not Bunny's brother. I mean Bunny's nephews and nephews mostly, not
yeah.
niece.
Okay.
Um, I wasn't expecting him to be so emotional because he like kind of like pawned him off on everybody else. Like he didn't really take care of him, or so I thought.
Mm.
But he really did love
Mhm.
him. It seemed like he loved and had genuine feelings for him, and was devastated to see that he was gone. So that was the most surprising thing that I read this week. That really shocked me.
Chapter 8 is even more surprising, some of the things, and
Hmm.
epilogue is somewhat surprising, some of the things that loose ends she
Hmm.
connected.
Well, I
Mm.
can't wait for y'all to tell me all about it, because it was
All right.
a bit of a difficult read just because of the different languages that
Yeah.
it was going through.
Also, it was long enough
Yeah.
that
And I do prefer, or I like listening to audio versions when I can, because usually I listen to it when I'm in the car, because I'm in the car for I live in the
um,
middle of nowhere, so I'm in the car for hours at a time. And this time I wasn't able to take advantage of the audible version, so that's why I
but the
didn't
YouTube
get
was
a chance to
still
listen.
okay.
No, it
I
wasn't.
did the
No,
I
because
did the
it
both
it
when
it missed pages at a time, so I would
some
still
small,
have
very
to
few.
follow, but I wouldn't know, so I would still have to follow along with the book because there were pages at a time that would be missing.
Yeah, only few places. Some of the places the sound was not okay, and some of the things was like messed up.
So you think that happens with AI generated reading, or does that happen when
No,
the
no, no.
author
That
themselves
that
makes an
wasn't
audiobook
that
It's
wasn't AI
probably
generated. It was just a bad copy
it's
of
of
yeah,
the
probably
author?
the
somebody
Audible
tried
version.
to
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
somebody tried to take advantage
make
of
a
the
recording of it.
original version and like, kind of like so he would have messed up in places and it's five parts and each is something like some of them are 3 to 4 hours read and last one is only the shortest one is 2 hours.
Mm, mm, mm.
So think like 4 into 4, 16 hours plus 2 hours. So it's 18 to 20 hours read, actually. And she's
Wow.
reading at quite a speed, especially in the first 3 parts of that audio. Okay. All right. Any other things, points you wanted to say or talk about?
I still didn't like Bunny. There was nothing I still learned about him that made me want to like him.
Remind me at the end, because I don't want to do it at the moment. Remind me if nobody has reached to that point, something about Bunny and something about Maria.
Okay, so that's it. I'm ready to hear what y'all have to say. So I can find out how it ends because I don't know if I'll be able to finish it.
All right.
Weren't we supposed to finish it up today, or we have another part to finish?
No, finished.
Yeah,
Really
today
Finish
was the
all.
last day.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Uh,
Sorry.
Up to the
So you can
hour,
let it all.
right?
You can let it all out, Bridget. You don't have to
Yeah.
hold back.
Yeah,
uh,
like you.
I'm ready.
our guest speaker is not here today, who was supposed to give us the book, but let's see if she joins.
Okay.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
talking about,
Hannah, maybe she's coming. Maybe she's coming.
let's see.
I got a good book too waiting to read.
Dr. Mahasan, you go ahead.
I gotta
Um,
find.
I'm like Miss Yaz. I kind of like was wondering, Bunny's father was like up and down emotionally, right? And one minute it was grief, one minute it was embarrassment, another minute it was this kind of, sticking his chest out. It was just crazy, almost like he was faking it as well. Like he was trying so hard to do what was expected maybe of him, you know? I don't know if it was a sign of not being able to handle what he felt. Was it, I mean, I don't know how real his feelings were. Like it seems like
Did
everybody was trying to be correct,
Did you
but
think the crying was the fake part, or him being happy was the fake part? Which was he?
I wasn't sure because he kept going back and
Okay.
forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
kept going back and forth. So I really wasn't sure.
Yeah, I mean, like
Um,
if you, I understand what you're talking about. At the moment, at times, he was, um, how I would say, divided personality, like into like showing off of the previous kind of
yeah.
rich culture, and at times he was grieving as a father or something like that.
Yeah, he had that like, trying to keep this pompous attitude. And then at the same time, the dad in him came out, you
Yeah.
know? So I wasn't really sure what part was fake and what part was real, but it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
But could
Um,
it have been both real? Because that's how
yeah,
grief works, and like
yeah, you're
And
right. You're right. Absolutely could have been his, like you said, his reaction to grief.
I felt like his
Um,
mom was a little over the top with her. I felt like
mm,
she was a little disingenuous with the flowers
With the
and they'll be
flowers, yes, the
yes,
flowers.
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I wasn't really, I'm like
probably
everybody,
if you
the
compare
title
from,
was, amazing. Everybody had a secret, like
Mhm.
secret. Every chapter there's a different secret. So the title
yeah,
was definitely was
if
fitting.
you're pointing out that point, if you compare
That's what-
the Bunny's family, so probably his father was most original than as compared to the others.
Maybe. I mean, that's possible. Um, but I know for me at this point, you get to see in chapter 7 and particularly in chapter 8, you really get to see, how this the idea of what they've done and grief starts to hit them and shame and guilt and some kind of more. Do they have a moral compass? I'm not sure if that's what it is or the fact that the reality of what they've
It's the,
done.
how I would put it, if I would put it in that way, you, what I understand from it, their moral compass was kind of decentered.
Yes.
I mean, like
Yeah.
sometimes it was the beauty was centered, sometimes it was ethics, sometimes it was coming out as a guilt, and sometimes like, oh,
Hmm.
it's a wrong
Yeah.
thing, sometimes it is right thing. So it's kind of a decentered, like you don't know what is this actual center of their compass, moral compass.
Yeah, they keep going back and forth, the
Yep.
guilt, the shame, Richard starts to, like you said, I think we were talking last week, he starts to distance himself even more. And
Yeah,
then
the Richard's
yeah,
personality, especially, kind of metamorphed too much in the last chapter, chapter 8.
yeah,
Too
yeah,
much.
yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah.
I think it would, if I would not be wrong, if I would say it just went 360,
He
not
just started
180.
to hit rock bottom. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
like, he went from here to the up and down, and then this,
Yeah.
and then he comes back to being a sober person, or a not normal person, as
I don't
in
know if
the
he
end.
ever, didn't read the epilogue, but it
Yeah,
didn't appear to me that he ever becomes normal again. I
he
don't know if he was
he
ever normal. I think
in
Dr. Ray
the
kept saying weird, weird, and I think he remains weird, but it sounds like his
in the
psyche
epilogue
has been rocked by this.
in the epilogue he, because after you, if you, as you have read the chapter 8, he distanced
He
himself
himself.
from Camilla, his sister. So he
Yeah.
has distanced
You mean
himself.
Charles and Camilla.
Yeah, you're talking, well, I'm confusing
I'm
what you're
saying I
talking.
was talking about Richard, saying how
Richard, Richard.
Richard goes
Richard.
up, down. Yes, we know Charles hits rock
Yeah,
bottom, but and even Henry, I think they
yeah.
all tend to now. Are they getting the conscious now? Are they realizing that this is not a game, that this
No,
is real?
only,
You think they
if I would
don't?
say, I would say only Richard has got something into, and somewhat, Camilla, and somewhat Charles. Other than that,
Hmm.
I mean, like, somewhat. I would, if I will tell you, you would have read the epilogue if you. No,
I mean,
you
Henry,
haven't
yeah,
read.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Charles ended up in a kind of facility where they were trying to treat him, and then he ran away with a older than him, a lady, and she was married and she had a son. And then the end, then they found him up, like, somewhere else, probably.
But well, if I can jump in for a second,
Sure, sure, sure.
I think what we got to realize is that, and I realized this towards the end. This is truly a Greek tragedy, right? This is a tragedy of the gods, and in most Greek tragedies, there's no real catharsis. Um, there's no solution, and that's what's interesting about Greek tragedies, that they're truly tragedies. Um, what we have to realize is that after Bunny's death, and a series of other unfortunate events, mainly Bunny's last, last stand, which was sending the letter to
Yeah, Julian.
Julian. That's Bunny's last stand, right? Which creates total chaos. That was Bunny's last FU to the group, right? Because I think Bunny knew something was going to happen to him, and his last FU actually destabilized the group. The little unity that they did have was destabilized once Julian resigns his
Yeah, but
professorship at the
like,
university.
yeah, they
Yeah,
couldn't
they
clear
because you
the
got to remember,
sh-
Julian at the end of the day, Julian was what kept them kind
yeah,
of,
center point.
even though they were insane, right? Julian was the center. You guys mentioned the center. Julian was that center.
Yeah,
And once Julian left, the center disappeared, and that's when you see, all the unfortunate things happen. Uh, Charles shoots Richard. Um, Henry. Henry's power is Henry goes for power, and Henry's power is challenged. Um, the relationship between the twins gets really weird. Gets weirder. We talked about this last time. It gets super weird, and then it and then that situation happens. All of this, um, we know now that the author is just writing a Greek tragedy. And as far as Richard goes, who Richard is our main character, right? He's our narrator slash main character. I think the reason why it's a true tragedy is not because the farmer dies. It's not because Bunny is killed. There's none of these things. Is that Richard never really finds any. He never gets any catharsis. He never has a moment where he can exhale. You know, the book Waiting to Exhale, right? He never has that moment where he can go, I figured this out. I
Yeah,
mean, even to the
all
end,
these
even,
characters, they didn't have a kind of
but
uh,
particularly, but particularly Richard, right? Because all these characters at some point could lived in their decadence, right? But Richard didn't. So Richard didn't have that moment to kind of like take the credit card and go wild. You know what I mean? So Richard is scrambling from the beginning of the book to the end. I mean, the poor sap uh, proposes to Camilla, and she turns him down flat. And so I think you know that's the true tragedy is
yeah,
that
that's the final part.
Richard. You think about. I'm sorry, just let me finish for a second. You think about Bunny. Bunny gets to blackmail them, use them, abuse them, gets all the stuff, free food, trips, clothes. Richard really gets nothing out of this deal but confusion and bewilderment and dissatisfaction and getting shot and
And also the look, yeah.
living in a rinky spot and being cold. And Richard is, he never gets a moment. Even when he gets invited to dinner, it's like, what's going on? Who's paying the bill? He never gets a moment of any catharsis. So I think that's what makes this a true Greek tragedy. Thank you.
I think the
Really
positive
quickly,
part, yeah.
when did Henry shoot Richard?
Again,
When did Henry
when?
shoot Richard?
I think it's chapter 6?
I mean, like,
Ah,
just
the
really
eight,
quickly, what was
chapter
the
eight, chapter eight,
Chapter
circumstances? Was it
8.
just
Chapter 8.
chapter eight.
can't stand you, pow pow, or
Cha- No,
No,
chapter eight.
basically
Charles
what
was
happened
going
was,
crazy.
Charles got jealous that Henry and Camilla was having a relationship. And
Yeah, they were living
Charles
together.
got jealous of it because Charles and Camilla's relationship was weird, right? We talked
yes?
about this before, and so Charles got jealous. He was forming with Camilla, and he was going to kill Henry, but instead of killing
Oh,
Henry, he shot Richard. Poor Richard.
okay,
Yeah, in
okay.
the and also, uh, I don't know. It would be a kind of like how I would say. Anyway, let's move forward and it will see.
I just have a question.
Yes,
The fight between, not fight, but I guess it was a fight, right?
yes,
In
yes,
chapter 8, when
yes.
Charles,
The last part. Yeah.
does Charles shoot Henry or does the gun just go off?
Actually, the gun at that point was still in the hand of Charles
So
when he shot.
Charles shot Henry as well.
Yeah, because also
Henry,
no, Charles didn't shoot Henry.
I
He
thought he
shot,
shot Richard in the stomach.
yes, he shot him in the stomach
He shot Richard in the stomach, but he meant to shoot Henry. He was
as
going
also.
for Henry.
Yeah,
Henry was the
because they
target.
he- because both of them, Francis and Henry, they
But I thought
reacted.
Henry, am I
Yeah,
missing
that was the
something?
last part.
I thought
Yeah,
Henry
that was
shot
also
himself in the
that also
head.
that's after. That's after.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's
No,
just between.
Henry
That's
commits
just after
suicide.
like minutes.
Oh yeah, and let's talk about that. Henry commits suicide because Henry took himself as the leader of the group.
Yeah,
So
he did.
he felt like
So
his death would stabilize the group again.
Mm,
he was more
okay.
actually into the whatever is told that he was into the more moral compass in with Julian's standards of morality, what you call it, the Greek morality at that time, and he was setting up
But
the
was there
higher
any?
standard. What it is told in the book, or that he
Yeah,
was kind of the
There
impression
was
was
not. You got to remember, there was not any morality. They were living in a fantasy world. What's the
absolutely.
game
mm,
What's the game that these kids play? with the cards, Warlock and Dragons. What is the game? They really serious about it too.
The
It's with the
Dungeons and
card.
Dragons.
Dungeons and
Dungeons
Dragons.
Dragons,
Yeah.
yeah.
My son and
So
daughter play. My Munaj and
they're
Kyrie play
living
Dungeons and Dragons.
they're living that life like that. They're living that life. They seriously living like this is Dungeons and Dragons before Dungeons and Dragons, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
like they are. I mean, okay, I will talk about that one later on. But let's let Dr. Mahasan put her points forward, whatever she wants
No,
to.
I really think that that's it. I got confused. For some reason, I thought in the middle of this fight, Henry took the gun and shot himself. But now
No,
I
no,
realize that
that's the
that's the next
yeah. It's
chapter.
the
I
last
got
part
you.
of the. It's
Part
the
eight,
same.
the last
It's the
part.
same. It's the same incident, same scene. I mean, same scene. But that's the start point when you are talking about, or when the middle part, when they reacted, both of them, like in a
Yeah.
kind of self-defense, and kind of like so. But in the end, he got the hold of the gun. Henry
Okay.
got hold of the gun. So then he was the kind of whatever he wanted to do. So he had the total control of the situation.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
Who
I
wants to
think
go
that's it. The
next?
next person go.
Bridget, you want to go? Or actually, Sabrina should go.
Wait, I can't go because I'm just starting chapter 8. I do
Oh,
apologize because this last,
Talk
I
about
just,
chapter 7.
no, I did. I was giving my input
Oh, okay. Keep going.
because this week I started my online training for school, for work, and it's taking up so much time. They said 3 hours a week. I'm on like hour number 6. So I do apologize, guys. But I'm going to finish it this week and then I'm still gonna chat about it in the group. Um, I've gotten a lot of spoilers. Thanks, Ray. I can't wait to
there are
read
lots of
it.
spoilers. Even the most of the spoilers are in the epilogue, not in the chapter 8.
Okay. It doesn't bother, and by the way, spoilers don't bother me. I'm still gonna read it because now I really want to
Yeah,
read it. I might stay up all night.
because if you see Camilla, as Ray mentioned about the what you call that, Camilla and Richard. So what happens is, even he tried to do suicide. What is the name? Francis. And then he is a gay, and but he ended up marrying some girl because of the will from his grandpa,
Oh my gosh, he got
because she
married.
would not be. And then she went
Oh.
to marrying, when like she ended up, or he ended up marrying a kind of whatever he said, that is stupid or girl, or like, anyway. So there, what I was going to tell you, yeah. So when he wrote a last letter to all of her living friends like Camilla and Richard. So they immediately flew back to wherever he was, Boston, I think.
Mm.
Forgot where he was. So they flew back to him, and then they found him in the hospital, that he tried to cut his veins. And so at that point, when they were
Oh.
departing, which Ray was pointing out, that at that time, Richard actually proposed Camilla, and then she declined it. That's was a kind of, as you say, that it's like kind of uh, no good ending in that sense as well for Richard.
What
But
I
I
found
see,
really weird though in chapter 7 was how not Richard, Henry, I was, and I'm going to be honest, that threw me off. How Henry was at the family's house, right? But it was almost like the way they were ordering him around and telling him to do things, and he was obeying and complying with whatever Bunny's mom was saying. That just
yeah,
felt very
because he had
uncharacteristic.
a much closer relation before
Yeah,
that.
but
He
it
has a
still
much
felt
closer relation with the,
uncharacteristic for me.
yeah, Cochrane's. He had a much closer relation with Cochrane's. So that's why even he flew back earlier than the rest of the
Earlier,
guys.
yeah. But it just, I don't know. I
And
just felt like, I'm like, did he tell them what happened? Like, I don't know. I think reading chapter 7, I kind of felt like they were going to set Richard up and say Richard did something.
mm,
I don't know. I just kept having that feeling like, okay, are they going to blame Richard? I
uh,
felt like Richard was getting ready to become a
the
fall guy
most
for
the
something.
most how I would say the most intense moment is when they get the letter and Julian even didn't know that it is a fake letter or the real letter. So at that
See, I didn't
time,
even get that far.
even yeah, that's the where basically the intense part. So that's where even they had a time and the chance, and then Henry screwed it up, so he couldn't get it. So that's where the whole shock came up, that the whole group or each of the group member of the group couldn't bear that shock or couldn't sustain that.
Hmm.
Anyway,
So Bunny's causing trouble even in death.
after death.
After that, I don't like Bunny. I still don't like Bunny. I'm with Jazz.
Yeah,
Why?
no, Bunny
He's
gave
the most survive. I mean, like think
Bunny
like
was
is this his survival instinct? He should have. He had the every right to at least ring all the bells.
yeah, I mean Bunny was Custard. I mean he was Colonel Custer, General Custer. What was it, Colonel Custer or General Custer? No, General Custer. He had his last hurrah with that letter because that letter really just threw everybody off track. And so Bunny was that one character, if you read Greek tragedies, there's always that one character that just, just punches everyone in the face, right? No one can get right because there's this one character. And that was Bunny. And Bunny, that letter really put everyone in a down spiral because Julian basically resigns from his professorship from the college, which, and again, was there any moral center? No, because, consider all these characters gods, with Richard being the lesser of all the gods, right?
Yeah, the
And
lesser god.
the lesser god. And these characters are just kind of going off and doing their own thing, and they create their own morality, right? They didn't, when we talk about morality, they didn't care that they killed their farmer. Did any of them sob that they killed their farmer? They could care less. They could have cared less, right? So I don't think there was any moral center at any point. It's just when your own start to go, or your own freedom, right? Because their freedom got challenged. That's what destabilizes. When you're the guy that you look up to, or the person that you look up to, your center, even though there's nothing moral about it, leaves, then it destabilizes everything.
Who would like to go next? Bridget, Tamara, you know?
I have
Yes,
nothing.
Bridget.
I have nothing.
All right, no problem. Tamara, you're there?
I'm, I'm just listening. I just got to my house, so I'm
How
not
much
even
you have
in the
read?
house
Yeah,
yet.
you have read until like chapter, I mean, eight, some part until like, I think the last part could have been left like
I think I'm.
500 pages. You
I,
have read until
yeah,
500,
I think I'm into chapter 8. Um.
500 pages.
Yeah, I don't think I finished. I didn't. I definitely didn't finish it. But I had to take the bus home because my ride did not
Okay, you
come.
want to take
So,
time? I will get, I
but
will
yeah. So
ask Hina
I'm
to,
just walking into my house.
And
okay,
just
take your time.
get yourself together.
Yeah. Hina,
Hi guys. Similar
hello.
situation. Can you hear
All
me?
right. Yeah. Okay, I would go if you, I will give you time. So for me, a little bit of in terms of Richard, that kind of how I would say a bit of a happy ending that he ended up doing masters in English. So at least he had a steady kind of a career. So I can see that as a positive part. The rest of the emotional and the life and all that, that's all is going down the drain. So, I mean, whatever he proposed to Camilla, and even he tried to live with Sophie, I forgot her name, and then he shifted it because of her, that, or he wanted to go to California, somewhere in Southern California, and then they couldn't continue. I mean, like they had to break off. So it's all kind of tragedy with everyone, and still like these are kind of how I would say the, I would say Julian was the main culprit, that who entangled them in such a way that they couldn't come out. They were neither this nor that, so they couldn't fit into any culture. I mean, they were into the 1,000-year-old kind of mythology and those kind of things, and they wanted to act like mini gods, and they wanted to connect to whatever the gods' impression, and then they couldn't get to anything. And a little bit of a positive for Bunny's and his family, that he had all the boys, and Marion got married to Bunny's brother. So that time she had a first baby girl. So the Bunny's father was the most happy. I mean, like, he was carrying this one, like, this is the first lady or first girl born into after many generations into the family.
Who
So
was
that's the
Marion? Who was Marion? There was a
Bunny's
Marion.
girlfriend, girl.
Whose girlfriend?
Bunny.
Bunny.
The girl on the campus?
Yeah, the one with
Yes.
She
the
married Bunny's brother and had a baby?
What? I can't wait to read this. I'm gonna have to put my training aside.
Wow.
Look, I'm clutching my pearls. Literally.
Okay, Marion.
She was like, I'm gonna get in that family one way or another. I'm getting in that family. But they
Yeah.
broke. She should have had higher aspirations.
Well, they are not that much broke. I mean, like, kind of, they were. I mean, they were not able. They had a kind of thing that they were not supporting their kids. But even who was the cloak was the one, the drug dealer. He was the one. He graduated in the law. I mean, at law. He graduated at law, and then he became some kind of a good thing. And then he was into the into the concurrent this one Corcoran family, and then he got some good job in New York somewhere. So he was like closer to them even.
You got to remember
Like,
that the Cochrans, they're con artists. They're gonna
well,
always
yeah,
be. They're always
yeah,
gonna be
kind
good.
of. But through the reference of his brother, I think they said that, she mentioned that they said that it was there. But also for Julian, I remember now that there was a kind of a rumor that he got as a teacher for some African royal kid, for a kid of a royal African royal, and they were saying that Richard was saying that he's appointed as a teacher for a 8-year-old kid. So what kind of Alexander he's going to create, and he's becoming like
Yeah, but Richard also said he didn't believe that. He thought it was just a rumor. He didn't believe it to be true.
yeah, he didn't. Yeah. But the other thing about this one also I want to mention, that when uh, Francis gave the news of Henry's death to Julian, finally he found it out. Then he said, look, I'm sorry for him, but I cannot do anything more than that. I'm sorry for that. He didn't come for, and as Ray mentioned, he actually had to, once that letter was revealed. Actually, he got the letter, but letter was on his table, and he read it many times probably, but he couldn't get it. And that time when they discovered that actually this letter is real from Bunny, so that's the time Henry confessed to Julian, and then he detailed it out, everything, the first murder, the second, Bunny's, and then that's the time when Julian resigned, and he said, "Okay, I'm going." And so that the last part of their semester was heavy on all these students, whatever the remaining, like Francis. So only, I think, from these 5 guys, only Richard was able to graduate. None other than, I mean, no one other than him.
Yeah, because it didn't seem like they was ever in any class except Julian's.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that what was the name? Charles, he ran away with someone's wife, and then he went to some other place, and then he went to Texas, and then so he was happy with this one, and he was washing dishes. So, and they were happy, but anyway, those two. what I was going to say about Francis.
You said Charles was washing dishes and he ran off with the 30-year-old woman. She must
And
have
then,
had the mortgage taken care of and stuff already.
well,
If he
no, they were living
if
in
he
a
was with
very
a woman
poor
30 years older than
conditions.
him
No, but they
and
were
washing
both of them. They
dishes.
were living in a poor condition, but they were happy with each other, and that was the psychiatric in rehabilitation kind of thing that they put him into, and then he didn't stay for very long over there. But what I was going to tell you, Francis has a also interesting story that how he was near to committing suicide. Actually, he committed, but he was not successful. But he ended up, or he is going to get married to some girl, and then so that he can inherit from his grandpa. You know that this
So
their age difference between his mother and him was very little, so they like 17 years old or something like that.
so who remained in the group? Was there a group in the end or they just had parted and went their separate ways?
No, they were
They
all
parted.
parted out.
They parted on it. Yeah, everyone parted.
Yeah. They had occasional conversations. So the least conversation was, yeah, I was going to talk about Camilla. So she was taking care of her grandma. That's why she said refused her, and that's her major excuse that she didn't denied Richard that when he proposed to her. All right, I will close my thing. Then I will give you now. You guys are probably settled in. You could have some talk. Tamara, you want to go first?
Oh, I'm sorry. I am just totally turned around with this book. Um, I just got in my house and it snowed and it's snowing. So it's snowing
Oh,
here. I don't think Bridget, you got any snow, but
Oh, can you see the
yeah,
snow? Can we see the snow? Can I see the snow?
uh, you want to see it? It's not a lot, but
Yeah, we want to
uh,
see it.
yeah, my
a
daughter
lot.
was telling something that in Rochester
Yeah.
it is
I
It
less
took,
posted
than
a
I
this.
mean,
picture of
yeah, your
it.
daughter's in Rochester. So that's not a lot.
Wow.
Well,
You
that's
guys
cool.
missed that? I don't miss any of that.
I miss
That's
it.
not a lot.
I
Wait,
miss
Do you?
Tamara, do it
Really?
again so I can take a screenshot. Please.
Oh,
I sent this, I put it on my status on WhatsApp
oh
Okay.
yeah. I
this
always send
morning
it.
when it started falling.
Yeah, it did it last night and a little bit last night and then a little bit more today. And it's supposed to snow for the rest of the week, so we might get a little bit more.
that's that's
But
Okay,
cool.
the
so
book,
We
I would
have
definitely
summer
go.
in the UK at the moment.
Yeah,
again,
Literally,
yeah.
like no autumn has arrived. It's the warmest
Well,
bonfire
yeah,
night
the UK
recorded in the
has gotten
history of
warm.
the UK. Imagine the
Yeah.
warmest
The-
bonfire night. I was like, oh, where are we
yeah.
going?
Don't rub it in. Don't
No,
rub
no,
it
yeah, definitely.
in. So yeah, this book has gotten me all turned around. I definitely would agree. I think Bunny got the last laugh, with his letter. He kind of, his family was terrible, and his family was absolutely terrible. Bunny, I think, with his letter, got the last laugh. I didn't like the fact that Julian just, could we say Julian really resigned because they didn't pay him. He just left, right? He
but
wasn't
he
a
screwed up. He screwed up all those kids' career because they were just 3 weeks apart. I mean, away from their final, and they because their department kind of collapsed, and the what you call the dean had to come in, and then he had to give them options
figure
and
things
things.
out,
So
right?
so
Yeah.
basically, only I think Richard was able to graduate from there, and because of that bullet, because he got some of the things that he got to take the exam later. The rest of them they had a tough time, and that was even because of the I think French.
So I think, yeah, I think like I know my husband said about their moral compass and everything like that. I definitely agree they didn't have any. I definitely agree with Ray when he was saying, definitely Greek tragedies. I haven't read a Greek tragedy since like high school. I don't even think I've read any in college. So But yeah, this definitely gives that Greek tragedy vibe that they're trying to be more than what they were, and now here are the consequences of their actions, and they're all just completely messed up at the end. So yeah, so this was a book definitely outside of my comfort zone. I probably would have never picked up and read this book. So it was a hard read, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I
I
kind of
mean,
feel like Tamara, I don't know if I would have ever picked it up, but I'm glad that we did decide to read it because it really kept my interest. It really did.
I want to
So
point out
I'm
here
glad I
one thing
continue
which
with
Tamara
it.
mentioned and others also, I think Ray also mentioned a bit. And then, like, I wanted to point out that part that it's kind of, I'm thinking about 1992 or 90s or late 80s, this book is about. I'm trying to, there are, I mean, from that point of view, that the written part of the things that what they're talking about, it was kind of like probably higher end society at that time. But when I'm trying to relate to the real life characters at that time, I find it a bit difficult that a kind of moral compass, whatever they are, whatever even if it is non-existent or decentered, or I mean, so it's difficult to find out that kind of thing in that kind. Probably these ideas were when the social, you can think of that the social media and the news network and the television was not that kind of like, yeah, the television and the cable networks were there, and they were quite like probably 100 channels over there, but like the social media and all that kind of life was not that kind of thing. So it was still the mainstream media which was controlling the whole thing, not the kind of so I try to find it a little bit hard that to relate those characters into the real life, that will you find these kind of characters? So it's kind of little kind of weird for me, or difficult for
Yeah, she put characters, I think, like because the book came out in 92. In 92, I was in high school.
me.
In
And this book is
92,
about 80s, the
this
life
book
of,
is about the 80s, right? So yeah, so it's like it just I don't know. A lot of like you said, the 80s, even in the 80s, there was no, there was no internet, there was no or well, yeah, it wasn't mainstream. And so I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I would have picked this book up like if I passed it in the library or if I passed it in the
if
bookstore.
I
But
if I would
it
ask her
definitely
to
is an
rewrite it,
interesting.
I would just, sorry for interrupting you,
I
but
think
if
she
I would
would
ask
get.
her,
I think if she wrote it now, um, I think it would definitely be some things would be similar. But I definitely think it would be a totally different spin.
even if I would say suggest her just cut the pages to half. 300 pages is enough for that book and that story. So watered down too much because of the expression, long sentences, which Bridget even mentioned before, and then especially I understand that it took her 10 years, and I see the writer's change of personality even during the writing. So the first 5 chapters is a different kind of a writing and the language and the personality, and the last 2 chapters are a different kind of a flow and pace. Especially the chapter 8 and 7, they are at a different pace than the first 6 chapters.
But then, Mr. Hassan, isn't it the editors and the writer's own fault that if she took that long and her personality was changed, wasn't it her duty to
Yeah, it
upgrade
is.
the draft and things like that, which were not making much
See,
sense?
this is like killing your own child when you have written
Not
something with that
really.
kind of
It's
a
like
depth.
keep the main essence there, but I'm not saying just change the plot and everything, but
This is
probably
where
like
we
you
find,
said, it's unnecessary long sentences and things like that.
yeah, this
I
is
thought
where we
I was the
find it.
only one who wasn't able to complete the book, but uh, obviously I had a very busy week as well, a new job and trainings and this and that.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's a very similar situation.
I can understand. Like when she wrote it, she was, I think, 28 or something like that, kind of like probably that age. And
Well, I think it's necessary to have the book be long because this book is not about murder, right? Book is about hubris. And each character hubris is suffers from their own hubris. Every single character suffers from their own hubris. So I think the author felt it necessary to give the reader a deep dive into the hubris of each character, and that's why the book was intentionally long.
Yeah, I think in the first, probably first 5, for her first 5 years, she would have really recently graduated from the Greek language or Greek, whatever she was studying, the Greek language and the Greek literature. So that impression of the Greek literature probably would have been first, and then she wanted to write. Of course, she would have a draft of the whole story in her mind, that the pace of the story and how. So in the beginning, she's kind of probably taking time to even, how I would say, write and compose those sentences. Think like you are going to write a sentence 80 words long. So you are going to definitely take time to write that kind of a sentence.
My position is that the book has to be necessarily long in order to dive deep. Because at the end of the book, we know everything about Richard. We know everything about Bunny. We know everything about mostly everything about Julian that we need to know. We know about most of the characters. We know we have enough information about them, and to dive into why these things are happening, and things are happening strictly and only because each one of these characters are suffocating in their own hubris.
Mhm.
For me, Ray, I think the length of the book, like if it's lengthy, it doesn't matter. Like you said, it was very detailed and everything. I think the structure could have been a little bit different. It can be a long book, but still an easy read to keep people going. It becomes really difficult and it's such an interesting book, like all of you have said. Whatever I have heard from you guys, it's just an amazing book, but probably the structure of it could have been a bit better.
I think it was intentional because she wants to mark it like a Greek tragedy. If you read a Greek tragedy, they're tough to get through. They're
But
very
that
tough to
those
get
were written like 100 years ago. Come on.
through.
So you
It
can't
doesn't matter.
compare
Yeah.
you can't compare that.
But you got to remember
Wait,
that's what listen to what I'm saying. She
yeah.
intentionally did it that way to give you a modern Greek tragedy. So
I
she
I agree
intentionally
with that. But for me, like I feel Alex has a very similar thing where like embed Greek tragedy in his books, but his reads are such an easy read, like
right because
literally.
there's two different targets. When an author writes a book, the author is going for certain targets, right? So when Alex writes a book, he's going for somebody who wants to get through the book quickly, right? Obviously, when Donna Tartt writes a book, she's not going for that audience. She's going for
Right.
more of a cerebral audience,
Correct.
Right.
someone who will sit there and read a 1,000 page,
Who would
history
read a
book,
Greek tragedy, right? So yeah,
right?
it was
She's
Well,
going
intentional.
for
you read them in high school. I remember reading them in high school.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about college, but I definitely remember high school, 90s. I was reading
and,
them in high school.
Right. I
and
mentioned to my kids because I have the physical book, and my kids are like, Miss, you're reading that. And I actually said to them, if I was teaching English, if like that was the subject I was teaching, I would have used the book like that as the text in her book. And I mean in her class. So I think as Ray said, her writing style and even the length of the book is all intentional. It's is the direction she wants to go in as an author, is the audience that she's trying to attract.
In that sense, it's pretty thick because in the fi- first 3, 4 chapters, you actually going through the language rather than the story, because you know whatever happened, So you know Bunny's dead, but all the things and the details and all those kind of things, you are going through the language part. You are going through sentences. If you are going to teach the grammar, probably this is the best kind of difficult grammar I'm talking about, where you have complex compound sentences. So
All right.
I wanted to.
Did Hannah get a chance to speak on the
Yes,
book?
sure, sure, go ahead.
And then
Yeah,
just
I
finish talking. She's talking now.
no, I
Talking
have
now.
I have told you guys I didn't read much, so um yeah, in the similar situation. So I think we should wrap it up anyways. Time is there.
All right.
Are we
If you
continuing with
have-
this book another week, or we are just done now?
Yeah,
Done,
finish.
Finish.
Good.
This was the
We
last week,
just need
right?
to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
This was the
supposed to
last week,
be,
right?
definitely.
So
Yeah,
we
this is
have
the
to
last.
just rate the book.
Hmm.
Go ahead with the rating.
Out of 5?
Out of 5, yes.
Yasmin 2.5.
Yasmin 2.1.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
He
hard to
didn't.
get a good. It's hard to get a good number out of Yaz. Boy, you got to work
He
for
didn't
that
say
number.
that.
'Cause I'm sorry.
I was surprised.
You gotta
2.5.
overwhelm her.
You didn't see that
Too.
coming?
I was surprised
No, I
too.
didn't. I didn't see it coming.
That's a big number for Yaz. That's a big number.
Yeah,
You
because you have
talking
to
about?
really.
What
That's
was it?
That's
I
a
missed it. What was it?
I am learning
A
that
2.5.
Yaz has to be, you have to work hard for Yaz. You got to knock her off her feet almost.
Okay, who is
Yeah,
next?
2.5 is a big number.
Hmm.
For the historical value of it, I'm gonna give it a 3.2.
3.2.
Ray, come on, Dr.
My
Ray.
cat
I
wants
thought you
to
were going
see
to
you
be up a
guys.
little
When you
higher.
talk about my 2.5, if you only gonna give it a 3.2.
Yes.
I was thinking the very
I give it.
same.
She got a
4,
3 from. She get a
4.5.
3 from me, and the
Well,
extra. She
Bridget.
only get
I'm
that
not talking.
3.
I
Bridget.
just said that the 2.5 was high. Yes, that's a high number for
It
you.
was high. It's a high for Yaz.
Dr. Mahasen.
I gave a 3 out of sympathy.
For me, I think
How much for sympathy? Just a minute.
she
How
gave
much
it a
for
3.
I
sympathy? How
gave her
much
the
for the
other
book?
half for sympathy to offset Yaz and Ray's half, 2.5. I gave her the whole another half to offset it. But you know,
Okay,
she
Dr.
do.
Mahasen.
She do deserve some points for that 86 word sentence. She really do
Not
deserve
one,
some points
many.
for that one.
Not one, many.
She did a few
50
of those, not
there are
just
many
one.
50.
She had
Yeah,
a
there were
few of them.
yeah, 50
Ooh.
plus and 50 plus words. And so, yeah, Dr. Mahasen, you go ahead.
I was really, the book kept me, it got to a point where it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. But I really, really, she used a lot of imagery, a lot. I
Mhm.
mean, you could pretty much read a sentence, close your eyes, and actually visualize it. And that I appreciated.
Especially the snows part, the snow with the
Yeah,
roof
I mean,
on
it
it.
was just that part was just a masterpiece for me. The
Yeah, last time
up
we
and
talked
down
that
got
if
on me,
some,
but I'd give her a 4 out of
okay.
5.
Well, let me justify my 3.2 for a second.
No, Ray, you don't get to justify that. No.
No.
You and
I'm
Yasmin, you are partners in crime this week.
gonna justify my 3.5, my 3.2 in that. Again, I enjoyed the effort, what she tried to do. But for me, there was times in the book where I was like, let's just get it done. Let's just go, And I think that's why I gave it a 3.2.
All right, who is next? Hina?
Well,
Sabrina.
everyone knows my stand on hard reads, but I think I should not be counting the voting because I didn't complete the book. So if I haven't completed the book, it's unfair. Maybe the last chapter is so
I didn't
amazing that
finish
I
it.
would, yeah. So shall I rate then?
No problem, no problem. If you're shy
How
to
much of
do
the book
that,
did you
no
read?
problem.
How much of the
No,
book
but I
did you
don't
read?
want to be like unjust with the writer
Tamara.
and the book club rating. It's not fair.
Okay, Sabrina.
I'm gonna give it I was going to give it a 3, but now I'm thinking a 2.8
Oh,
So your
because
2.8
there was time.
compares to
Yes,
your 2.8,
there were
what you put
times that
it?
I just wanted to throw this book away and just stop and just be like, honestly, I really wanted to send her an email and be like, this book is too daggone long. Like what were you thinking,
Yeah,
or
I was happy that
what
I
was your
was
I
target
was
happy.
audience?
I was happy with that.
Exactly.
I was
I
happy with
was
that.
happy that I made it sure that this week the book finishes, even we have to read
Yeah.
100 some pages.
Yeah, I just
Yes,
was like,
yes,
what
You
yes,
were
read
you
Mr.
200
thinking?
Hassan.
pages,
Over 100 pages, Mr. Hassan.
Yeah,
closer to
Especially
two.
since
yeah, 100 plus. Like,
work is heating up. We had another
Yeah, but
student who
you know
passed
what? Da
away
da da. We
recently.
all
So
have
a
that,
lot.
but it was a lot of pages. Doesn't matter
So it
what
was
you
a
were doing.
lot.
There
It
was a
was a
lot of
lot.
pages,
So
but
I
it got
really
juicy. 7 and 8
so
got
she
juicy,
Sabrina,
got
Hassan.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
she
It
problem
got
when you're
juicy.
a
so
2.8 she gets from me.
yeah,
Uh,
so
let's see.
swamped
yeah,
with
got it.
work and then it's a hard read. It's just your brain is not
Nah,
braining. That's what my students say. Miss, the brain is not
Sabrina,
braining.
okay. Sabrina,
Yeah, she 2.8 she got from me.
yep. Sabrina,
Wow. Okay, so I'm going to say a 3.8, and I'm
okay.
going to say why. So I didn't finish. I think if I finish, it probably would be higher. Um, there were times that it did drag on. I also wish that I wasn't that I didn't have so much going on in terms of, like, I'm with Tamara on that. If I did, I really enjoyed a book, and I believe it or not, even though it was long, I would read it again. Um, I have a lot going on with work. I'm not really focused on it, and so I've been reading, and I really it hasn't really been sinking in. But I really will read it again, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Now,
the I enjoy that I have to think as I read, because it's been a long time that I've actually just read something that really engaged me on a different level intellectually.
it's
Because
been a
I
long
can
time since
I
I've
can
been
stay up all
around
night and
people
finish a
who
book.
engage me. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I could stay up all night and finish a
let,
book from beginning to end and not think twice about it.
let me
But
say
this
let
one
me
I
say
couldn't
this.
do that with.
Let me say this. I would love to teach this book. I
Yes,
would
and I
love to.
think
I
that's
would
it.
love to teach this. I would love to teach this book for definitely because there's so many themes to talk about. I
Yes.
would love to teach this book.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I mean, different parts of the book I started from different perspective, and then I calculated the average when I read it the way I expressed it last week or before even, that I read the audio. I mean, I listened to the audio and read the book in front. So I tried to capture as much as I could, and sometimes I had to re-go back and forth. Even I was listening and reading at the same time. So it was assisted reading. So I had a good grip of whatever was going on. And even there was a and kind of a nonsensical sentence she added it up, which would have confused many when the guys they went to one of the shops on the highway or somewhere and they were talking about somebody shooting and then his head blown up and all that. So that could have even confused many of the readers or listeners. So anyway, from my side, I would give it a 3. Yeah, there are good points, positives, things, and there are some negative points that probably she could have more intensified it. That's the beauty of the language, that you intensify the things. The shorter you speak with the more things into it. If she would have slashed it into 300 pages, and then the same kind of things and expressions and the language part. So that becomes really high concentration in terms of the how I would say
No, I
the
wonder how
way.
much of our scores is dictated by the fact that we enjoy reading 300-page books.
Well, I mean, like they
I think
are
it has
300.
affected the score a bit. I think it has affected the score a lot. Is that
For me, it
we
wasn't the length; it was the difficulty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
okay?
same
language,
here.
It was the
the kind
difficulty
of
of
words
reading
she
it.
used in the first 4 5 chapters. Probably, if I'm trying to relate it, if she took 10 years to write this book, so the first 5 years, the words she wrote were kind of like very kind of bookish words. We don't use them in our real life. So even the other languages she brought in, the Greek language and Latin language
Yes,
and
all
other
the foreign languages. I
all the
didn't
foreign languages she
really
brought in it
appreciate that.
because she was learning Greek language, and to learn the Greek language, she would have to probably learn some other kind of languages as well. So she was bringing in all those kind of impressions that she's just out of the college or she's just graduated her master's she has done, and then she started writing in that time probably.
All right.
Yeah,
So
all
what's the
right.
tally? Did we tally it up?
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you
I
tally?
was half of it I did. You go ahead with that one. Dr. Mahasin's 4, Tamara 2.8, um, Sabrina 3.8, and Ahsan 3. So Hina none. So will not count.
Don't add to zero. That's not fair.
All right,
Don't add to
2.5, guys. Come on.
No
No,
problem.
no, no, no. Don't add to zero. Don't add to zero.
No, don't
No,
add the
I'm not.
zero.
I'm
Don't.
not
Yeah,
zeroing.
that's what count me
I'm
out
not
means.
saying.
Just don't count me
Yeah,
in at all.
I'm not counting.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not counting it zero. I'm just
Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
going to do
Then.
the average.
Yeah, so I'm not in the average then.
3.16.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's above
Yeah.
average. It's a good book. Sabrina, it was a good book.
Mhm. All right. So the next book.
Thanks, Sabrina.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
Thank you. Yes, it was a good pick. It was definitely
And
Yeah.
something I
I
would
would
have
say,
never read.
two difficult parts for the book or for the writer that she made I mean, uh, she had revealed the death in the first epilogue, and then she had to compose the story. So this was a difficult challenge for her as a writer. Number two, that a book having 3 point some rating from our, like, I think 6, 7 people. A book of more than 500 pages to have that much of rating is a difficult task.
Yeah, it's a difficult task.
It's a
Definitely.
difficult task. I mean, you
Yeah.
keep up the things, and to have that 500 plus pages book, 331 actual pages from there, and then 20 plus pages for the prologue, the epilogue. So it's 500 plus pages book.
All right, Hannah, tell us
550.
about the book that we're about to read.
Yeah, that's what I
Uh,
was going to.
yeah, so it's a Carrie Fisher book. And because we have to change the genre, it can't be like thingy. So I chose a very different genre this time. It's a rom-com. The School
Oh,
Gate Survival Guide. Guys, I
Mhm.
love suspense thrillers. It's just to change the genre of the book. That's about it.
So what's the name of the book? And
The School Gate Survival Guide. It is in the drive, by the way, in the proposed books.
okay,
Yeah.
School Gate.
Yeah, the School Gate Survival Guide.
Mhm. All right. Is it for the teachers or for any
Oh no,
educator
no, no.
or?
It's a Carrie Fisher book. It's supposed to be really good. It's not for teachers. It's not, it's a proper like rom-com kind of book.
All right. How many
Which is
pages are there?
also not very common with her because
Okay,
again, it's
now,
a woman-centric book, like all Carrie Fisher books, but it has a very different theme to it, if that makes
okay.
sense. Yeah.
Let me see and pull it out and see how many pages are there and how many pages we would read this week.
Is Brother Sajid okay? I haven't seen him in a few
Yeah,
sessions.
he's okay. He told me
Okay,
that he
good.
missed the train and he was like far behind, and so it would be difficult for him to catch up.
Okay,
So he said, I will join when the new book starts. So probably you will see him next week.
It's
I told
248. I think the one in the Google Drive, it has 248.
Mm,
Oh, how many are actual pages? Just let me figure that out.
we'll see how much we have to read this week. My Google Drive asks me to sign it up again. All right. So let me download APEA library. So I will share the link and everybody can download from there rather than downloading it from the.
I did put it in the group just now.
Yeah. Okay. Ray left. Right. So how
Did he
many
leave or
pages
is he
we
still there? I think he's still
No, he
there.
left. No, I
He
see.
left?
I got the message that Bridget is the host now. So
Oh, okay.
because
Well, we know
she
we know
joined.
what's gonna happen with this session in the end. If I'm hosting, look, I've been telling my Kyrie, I said, ever since the neighbors been here, they stealing my Wi-Fi. I said my Wi-Fi don't work, my phone always going out, it don't work. Last night she finally came in and looked at my phone. I ain't been on my Wi-Fi, I've been on somebody else, but I'm the one stealing somebody's Wi-Fi. I ain't even logged on to my own Wi-Fi. So you
Your
don't want
Wi-Fi
me
is
to
not password protected.
it is, but ever since I came back from Auntie house, I never even logged back onto my own Wi-Fi in my house. I just been logging on to whoever I can get it from. I'm talking about I'm stealing somebody stealing my stuff. I ain't even on my own stuff. So that's why my phone kept giving me a hard time with staying logged on and no signal. I kept going, Kai, is the Wi-Fi down?
Hina?
Like, what's up?
Okay, Carrie Fisher books. Okay.
All year since February.
I'm trying to see the school. There are two books, The School Gate.
Oh,
They are
are
the
there
same.
two? Must be the same. Maybe a copy just duplicated it or something. Let
Could
me
be.
check. Yeah, there are two, but I think they're just downloaded
Same
twice.
book?
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't worry about that because they're the exact same book. Yeah. Shall I delete one? I'll delete one.
Yeah, better.
Yeah,
Because
I didn't realize. Sometimes what happen when you're uploading, it doesn't show, and then when
So
you
there
re-upload,
are 18 chapters. No, there are
no,
38
38.
chapters.
38.
38 chapters. So let me download and
But
then
how long are
analyze.
they? I see 300
They're
That's what
not they're not very long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
shall we do like 10 or something like that?
I'm just downloading it and I will
Yeah.
just give me a minute. What's happening? Yep. Opening up. Yeah, book club. Put it to your folder.
Hassan, how does
Yes.
it work? I'm sorry. So
Okay, so we are on to page, let's say 38 chapters. What page is that?
240. Oh, sorry, you're just saying the whole, like the end of the book, basically. It would be, to be honest, until the last of the thing.
That's what I'm
43 pages? No, it's acknowledgement. Wait. Robert, acknowledgement itself is so long.
The School Gate Survival Guide.
Yeah, it's here. 228. The reading part is until 228.
So we divide.
And it starts from what you need to like keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, 228.
And the first page starts from
Yeah, page is like chapter 1 is page 6.
Yeah. So 6 to
So
228.
cover page, title page, dedication, chapter 1. So let's say we divide 228 into how many? Let's say we read 70 pages.
Yes,
70
which is
some odd
chapter
pages.
which is 10 chapters because it will be until page 68, I guess, or 70 something.
Let me see. yes, chapter 11, I mean chapter 10, first 10 chapters.
Yeah, I think that would be
Yeah,
okay.
68 pages because minus 6, so it means 62, 60 some pages if you want. Or better, if we go a little bit higher, like 12 chapters.
Let me see. 223 divided by 4. We are finishing in 4 weeks, right? No, we are
Okay.
going higher because we are supposed to read 56 pages a week.
No, but we'll make it like 3 weeks would be,
Oh,
70
3 weeks.
plus
That's
pages.
fine then. So we can go higher then.
Yeah, that's what I'm
If
saying.
everyone
30, 70.
agrees, but
Yeah,
after
let's say 70 pages. Even I'm talking about if we have to read 70 pages, it's all
okay.
right. 70 pages in a week, it's okay with
So
us.
chapter 11 finishes
Yeah, page 80, page
80.
79.
Oh, yeah, that would be fine. That would
Yeah,
be fine.
79 minus 6 is basically 73 pages you have to read in a
Yeah.
whole week. So which is good enough. No, I mean, like, it's not too much of a burden, or between 50 would be too little. 80 would be, if we have been practicing 80 pages, but let's go on a comfort level, and so everybody can
I
with
was
the easy
thinking
peasy.
because it has how 38 chapters. So if we were doing like 10, 10, 10 chapters, then it would have gone for like 4 weeks. But
Yeah, but some of the chapters could be long, and so I said divided 70 times
yeah,
3 is
got it.
210, 250. So if we read this one, so next week we can go to 140 plus,
That's
like,
fine. Yeah,
yeah,
makes
150,
sense. Mhm.
150 pages, like we would read next, and then complete it the third week. All right, fair enough. I'll put it in the group, the division of the thing for this. So Dr. Mahasan, less than 80 pages. I mean, actually reading is to be 73 pages. So chapter 11, is it okay with you guys? All right.
It's fine with
Yasmin,
me.
you have to,
Definitely,
hmm?
yes.
Yeah, 70 plus pages, you won't feel much of a burden.
No,
We'll see
no, not
now.
at all.
Now we will see for any audio versions of this. When did this book come out? Hina?
I am not
Let me see
100%
the
sure.
title
It
page.
shouldn't be that old, to be honest. Let me check.
2014?
Mm-hmm.
So
2014, yes?
I think so.
Yes,
Still on.
originally published in 2014. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2014, 6 June, 14 June, 2014.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be able to find some audio.
We will or we will not?
We will
Yeah.
definitely, because the newer versions or newer books, which are post 200 to 2024, 25, then it would be difficult.
Okay.
We'll look for it, those things, and we'll share in the group. All right, so far so good. It's 9:21. So we have completed the book. Thank you very much, Sabrina, if she's still there. Yeah,
It has audio versions, obviously, but I'm not sure if
yeah,
they're
we'll share.
paid or free.
We'll
I don't
share. We'll
listen to
share in the
audio.
book.
Yeah,
We'll share in the group.
that's fine. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everyone.
Thank
Have a
you very
great
much.
evening. Yeah, good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Bridget.